Arden, and my research question was, how will companies switching towards sustainability affect the economy? So first, here's a key term that I wanted to define. Sustainable investing is an investment approach that considers environmental, social, and governance impacts. So first, environmental, you can think of pollution and climate change, and for social, you can think of human rights, and for governance, you can think of corporate ethics and transparency of government. So first, here are 3 key effects that I discovered when I was doing my research. So first is industrial modernization, which is companies need to change their infrastructure into being more sustainable, which I connected with environmental and social aspects. Second is redirecting capital flows, which is when companies make their switch, they need to get products that are sustainable, and so these companies that make these products will get more money, which I put into governance and social aspects. And then number 3 is transition risks, because when you transition to be more sustainable, there are definitely a lot of risks that come with it. So first, my 2 case studies are Tocofino and Ørsted, and Ørsted is in Denmark, and Tocofino is in Canada. So first, Ørsted. Ørsted transitioned from being heavily reliant on fossil fuels to create energy to becoming a global leader in renewable energy, particularly offshore wind. So first, industrial modernization. So their coal-fired power plants, they converted them to be decommissioned entirely or running solely on sustainable biomass. Second, they redirected their capital flow by investing billions of dollars into renewable infrastructure and away from gas and oil products. Third is transition risks. By collaborating with the government, they created favorable taxes to help them in their switch. And they also engaged in power purchase agreements with companies like Amazon and Microsoft to help them be more stable during their transition. So my other case study is Tocofino, which is a small restaurant chain in Canada that implemented sustainability measures when opening in new locations. So first, industrial modernization. They reduced their carbon footprint by collaborating with Climate Smart Vancouver, which helped them with their plan of becoming more sustainable. Second, redirecting capital flow. They invested in sustainability by sourcing their products from local stores and also fishing companies that implement sustainable practices. Third, transition risks. They had to think of costs when engaging in their switch because these products that came locally were more expensive. So case study comparisons. How do their switches affect the economy? So first, Ørsted, which is a much bigger company than Tocofino, it took them 9 years to transition. They invested $41 billion to convert. They developed skilled labor markets in the economy because they needed more workers in construction jobs. They signaled global investors to divest from fossil fuels. Because of their switch, it was so positive that these companies invested more in sustainable companies. And they lowered energy costs by collaborating with governments to create favorable energy costs. And then Tocofino, which is much smaller, took them 10 years to transition, which is comparable to Ørsted, estimated around $3 million used to convert, which is definitely a lot less than Ørsted, but more relatable to smaller companies. And then they supported local businesses, like the fishing companies I mentioned, community engagement, which is like a social aspect, because many people in their communities invested in Tocofino because they saw how they were becoming more sustainable. And then promotion of sustainable practices. So my predictions based on these case studies are industrial modernization, and this will require a lot of funds and could inject money into the economy through companies' need to raise capital, because during this switch, banks and other corporations will need to support these companies. Second, redirecting capital flows. Companies will have to invest money into sustainable corporations, which could affect the economy needing to invest in more green companies. And then number 3, transition risks. Using sustainable products can be more expensive and could result in a decrease of profit, the need for inflation prices, like in the case of Tocofino, they might need to increase their prices to make more profit. And my conclusion from this was the switch will affect the economy in different ways related to the company and their own conversion, mostly based off size and the amount of money they have. Second, more positives that outweigh the negatives. So there are definitely negatives that come with the switch, but positively this will affect the world in a very more positive way. And third, the global switch will start for more companies converting and shifting the economy towards green, because when more companies switch, this will influence and have a domino effect. So thank you.